Hey guys, last week I talked to you guys a lot about myself and the immersion that I was going through, Peaceful Warrior, kind of talking about dealing with ourselves a lot more. Um, and here I am in week two. Um, so, first off, just a summary of last week, we had an introduction to martial arts and also an introduction to American boxing from our principal, Mr. Cummings. Both of them I find really useful. I kind of play around with them a lot at home, just kind of working on like a pillow on a chair, and because I don't have a punching bag. Um, but what I found like really interesting last week is I really started to get into the meditation, and that also carried over into this week. Obviously that kind of helps because it kind of helps that I took a Buddhism class last semester with Mr. Squires, um, and what I did last year that I didn't do this year is I was a lot more focused on the position rather than actually doing the like meditation rather than sitting and trying to explore myself. I was so focused on the posture. When you're little and you start playing a sport, everybody teaches you techniques and whatnot, but what they can't teach you is how to how to play a 40 yard throw a 40 yard bomb to a receiver running downfield in football. Um, they just can't teach that to you. And meditation is kind of something you have to feel out for yourself. And um, so while you're sitting with yourself, you kind of you come a lot. Sorry, you pass by like a lot of different feelings you have going on in your body. This past week, I think it was on Wednesday. Um, I had like this weird sensation in my back, and last week or my last reflection, I talked about my back issue, and it was a pain that I hadn't really felt before. Um, and no, it wasn't really related to my back problem. It was just this really weird sensation that I had. Um, and so as opposed to moving away from it, what you're supposed to do is you're just supposed to sit there and kind of explore it, put your awareness into that spot. Um, and that's something we kind of go away from and shy away from in our culture, especially in our Western culture. We're so used to oh, don't be selfish. If you feel pain, move away from it. Try and relieve yourself. But no, I mean, this immersion is about trying new things. That's what immersion is about. It's about exposing yourself to something new. And um, you know most of the people in the room hadn't taken Buddhism. It's only me and my friend Yash, and um, we've also had practice. So and what I've heard from a lot of my students is I've actually been really impressed. A lot of them have actually come really far. Just in a week and a half, and to the end of this week, um, and they've actually started to get visions in their meditations. But that's not something that's really happened to me. I've never really had a moment hit me like that. But what I have had happen to me is I've literally felt every single muscle in my body just relax. And what I think a lot of us struggle to do is to relax and really accept what's going on around us. Whereas, the normal, or not, I don't want to say the normal, but like a lot of other people will, if they feel uncomfy, they're gonna move. That's like, if I feel pain in my leg, I'm gonna take it off the ground. Um, and same thing with meditation. Um, and what else am I missing? Oh, that's right. We started doing yoga a lot more frequently, um, and with Mr. McGlawn, I Mr. McGlawn's like one of my favorite teachers because a couple of years ago in my performing arts class, we had this collage concert type thing, and I had to do a scene from Avenue Q. And if you don't know what Avenue Q is, it's kind of like a parody of the Muppets, with a lot of dirty humor. And I had to sing a song, and as you can tell by my voice, I don't sing at all. Um, But what he suggested is, as opposed to, trying to do this elaborate, rock band style music piece, he had me like adjust my voice to make it sound a lot more like this. And it turned something, it changed my mind, going from something, completely rock, popular, cool, into something more like me, who's kind of like funny, foolish, really awkward. And it really helped to have, a lot of support behind me when doing that. It's the same thing for our immersion. During Kung Fu and during boxing, it really helps to have encouragement. Good job, John, way to go. And Mr. Stevens, Mr. Hayes, and Mr. Herbert at the Quest Center, they do a great job of that. And I really like to thank them for that. Now back to my experience. So next, we kind of started lifting a bit more, which for me really helped, because over the past year I wasn't able to lift because of my back issue. And when I was lifting, I felt a lot of frustration, and people like, why do you feel frustrated when you're lifting? Because you're letting off steam, if anything. No, the one thing that I heard over the past year is, oh, John, you're so skinny, you need to eat more, you need to beef up, you need to work out more. No, I can't. Like, the doctors won't allow me to. And I found myself getting frustrated, over the past year. And I really think that this immersions really helps out, a lot in terms of my frustration. And just being open to the idea of like embracing pain, because one of the noble truths that we've learned about is that life is suffering, and that really hits home, because life is filled with downs, but it is what it is. Negatives are negatives, positives are positives. But at the same time, there are other people in this world that see your negatives as positives and your positives as negatives. And it's that's okay. They're people. They have the same rights as you do, and they have the same right to life as you do. Well, anyway, guys, I gotta go to a Indian party. So that's me signing off. See you guys next week.